Hello everyone and welcome back to Jenna Voice. So today's video is going to be all about my tips for practicing efficiently. My first tip, and possibly the most important tip, is to first schedule a time every single day for practicing. I know this can be especially difficult when you're in school to schedule time to practice, but really taking the time to look through your schedule and see where you have a free hour every single day is so important. I would recommend looking for those free hours and penciling in practice and stick to that. Treat it like one of your classes. This may change on a day-to-day basis depending on your schedule or your class schedule or your work schedule, whatever you have going on. But really making sure you're just getting into the practice room every single day for at least an hour is the most important step. I remember there were times in my undergrad when I was so busy that the only time I really had to practice was 9 a.m. And so 9 a.m. would come and I would be in a practice room. Now to some people, practicing that early sounds insane, like how could you possibly sing at that time of the morning? But really your body will adjust the more you do it. When you practice early in the morning or later at night, there are a few perks. Oftentimes there are fewer people in the practice room, so you won't have to wait for a room to open up. My next tip is to come with your music prepped. This is something I talk about in one of my first videos that I made, how to learn an aria or a song. So if you haven't watched that video already, please go check it out. I will have it in the description box down below. Coming with your music prepared means you will spend less time struggling through the language and the rhythm and the meter, and you can get down to business on just learning the notes and working the music into your muscle memory. My next tip is to eliminate distractions. This is so important. If you only really have an hour to spend in the practice room, you want to make sure that you aren't checking your phone regularly or being interrupted by texts, emails, or phone calls. So usually what I do when I get into the practice room is to put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode. Also, you could just power it down. That works just as well too. In addition to turning your phone off, make sure you come at a time when you aren't going to be starving or extremely tired. It's weird to think, but your body could be its own distraction. If I come to practice during a time around lunch and I have not eaten lunch, I'm less likely to be there the full amount of time that I planned because I am so hungry. I know this can be especially difficult when you're in school, so one way that I combated this is I would try to eat at least snacks during some of my classes. Hopefully most of your teachers will allow you to eat in class as long as it's not a really noisy or smelly food, so try to plan ahead with that. Bring food with you throughout the day so that you aren't hungry when you get to the practice room. Also, making sure you're getting enough sleep is so important. If you only got 4 hours of sleep the night before and you're coming to practice the next day, you're probably not going to sound your best. So make sure that you're getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep so that you can practice at your best level. Okay, my next tip. Don't skip on your warm-ups. Oftentimes I feel like I have so much music to get through that I feel like I don't have the time to warm up. But frankly, when I skip my warm-ups, I don't sound the best, and I'm not singing at the healthiest level that I know that I can. Warm-ups really do mean to warm up your voice, so if you're coming especially early in the morning before you've had conversations with people, warmed up your voice at all, you're really gonna need to take that time to get your voice moving easily and healthily. So don't skip out on your warm-ups. My next tip is recognize trouble spots in your music and really take the time to work through them. A lot of the times in my undergrad when I would get a new piece, I would feel as though every single time I was in the practice room, I needed to get through the entire piece no matter what. And so oftentimes I would kind of struggle through the tough spots of the piece, but then continue going until I reached the end of the piece. And the cycle will kind of continue on a day-to-day basis for at least 5 or 6 days until I had generally learned the piece. I think really taking the time to work through trouble spots means you're going to learn the piece as a whole a lot faster because you aren't making the same mistakes on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes that means breaking the piece down into pages, phrases, lines, or even bars at a time that need that extra work. Paying attention to those little trouble spots will make a difference in the long run. Okay, my last and final tip is to recognize when your stopping point is. Whether you have a specific amount of time that you know you can only sing for, or recognizing when your mind starts to wander and you're not as invested in the music as you should be to practice efficiently, recognize when that is happening and then stop. Really stop. If you just need a 5-minute break outside of the practice room, that's totally fine. Or really, if you've reached your max for the day, recognize when that stopping point is and really just allow yourself to stop. I know when I hit those blocks of mental distraction or physical fatigue that if I continue to push through and try to practice more after that point, it's not going to be quality practice time. So finding that points and stopping right away is so important, because if you're not getting quality practice time, you might as well not be practicing. So these were my tips on practicing efficiently. I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you have other tips on practicing efficiently, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear about them. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends if you think it might help them, and please subscribe if you've not already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.